Alrighty, Samsung's ready for round 2. What do they got in store for the Galaxy Fold? Let's hope this one doesn't explode and or break on the first day. Now, genuinely, I think they're doing some good things for the Fold lineup. I just don't know if it's going to change anyone's mind, and I think some of these leaks tell us how Samsung is handling the foldable industry, and it kind of reinforces my thoughts on foldables in the past. So, if you're looking for a channel that's just gonna keep praising the Galaxy Fold and keep telling you how super innovative it is and so much better it is than traditional smartphones, then yeah, probably don't watch this guy. It's not a good idea, but let's begin. So let me talk about the more interesting part of the leaks going around for the next generation of Galaxy Fold, which, by the way, should be unveiled with the Galaxy Note 20. It's gonna have a hard time justifying the Note 20 for a lot of people, but there's actually going to be 2 versions of the Galaxy Fold because Samsung loves their complex lineups, and one of them could be the cheapest foldable we've seen on the market yet, other than the Escobar. Yeah, let's not... Do we have to go there? I mean, actually, I think part of the reason the Galaxy Fold E might exist, so basically a scaled-down, cheaper version of the Galaxy Fold, is because of the Escobar Pablo phones, because they were buying up old Samsung Galaxy Fold 1 generations that they weren't able to sell because they had that design flaw, so they would literally be putting their plates on top of the Galaxy Fold and sell it for $400, and a lot of people were getting scammed by that, so I think Samsung went, you know what, we probably shouldn't be selling our old Folds to this company. So that's what they're planning on doing with the leftover inventory from the first Galaxy Fold 1, is recycle some of the parts and put it into this Galaxy Fold E idea, which is essentially going to be priced around $1,100, so it's substantially cheaper than the Z Flip, but with a huge compromise, which I think a lot of people might be bugged by. The display on the outside, so not the unfolded configuration, will be much, much smaller, in fact, more in line with what we got on the Z Flip, which is kind of just a widgets and notification little display, and also kind of a viewfinder that you can use when taking pictures. But yeah, very, very tiny, not very practical. You can't really do much on there except deliver notifications and show the time and battery and stuff like that. They're just gonna put that on the outside, but then still retain that typical unfolded display that we got on the initial Galaxy Fold. So this is a interesting move because honestly, I think people that are really into foldables have kind of proven to me that you will be into a foldable no matter how impractical or expensive it is. Doesn't matter if it's $1,100, doesn't matter if the specs aren't great or it's missing flagship features. If it folds, you will be impressed by it. So in that sense, I think the Galaxy Fold E is going to do really, really well. However, I don't think it's going to switch anybody who wasn't into foldables before. Their mind's not going to change if they just see Galaxy Fold, but without the exterior display that wasn't very useful in the first place. Now it's even less useful, but it starts at $1,100 instead of $1,400 like the Z Flip did. So yeah, I think most people that think foldables are gimmicky or think they're not that practical compared to everyday flagships, their mind's not going to be changed by this. I'm pretty sure they're just going to be like, yep, okay, another fold. Yeah, that's great, Samsung. Keep doing your thing. But people in the foldable community that love them, no matter what, you will love this thing because now you can get your hands on another foldable for even less than before. It'll be rocking okay specs, things like the Snapdragon 865, but more like 8 gigs of RAM and probably not even rocking 5G support. How could they? Actually, that's my favorite part about this phone, is that it wouldn't have 5G. But that's probably not what most tech reviewers are going to want to talk about. They're going to want to talk about the true successor to the original Galaxy Fold, which had such a bumpy release, but I'm very happy about it because I reserved one and then they canceled it for me and they gave me free credit to spend on Samsung's website. So I think they handled it very well. But the second generation Galaxy Fold is going to try to combat a lot of the criticisms the initial one got. So it's rumored to have an Infinity O display on both the exterior and interior. So concepts have showcased basically larger display, not a big asymmetrical notch anymore, and on the outside, way less bezels, which from an aesthetic standpoint, yeah, it definitely looks a lot better. It doesn't look like you have a giant, chonk forehead on the top and bottom of your $2,000 phone, but I can't help but think when I see this display, is it really that practical? I mean, it reminds me of the Essential Phone 2 concept where they basically just made these really intricate TV remote displays, which I guess for basic stuff is gonna be fine. I'm not saying this is worse than the original Galaxy Fold. I'm just saying I think there may be a fundamental issue with the aspect ratios they're targeting here, because when unfolded, you have this kind of odd square aspect ratio, which not many tablets go with. At least the good selling tablets, they don't go with that. Most tablets are not that small either. So it's kind of an odd aspect ratio when unfolded compared to any other tablet or phone out there, and then when folded up, it's this extremely tall, extremely narrow, which can't be very keyboard friendly, can't be very video playing friendly. And I get it, you're gonna say, well, that's because you want to unfold the device if you want to use a keyboard or watch a video. So I guess for basic stuff, having that larger external display will be fine. I guess that's a little bit better, but if you're trying to use the argument that foldables can allow you to combine your phone and tablet into one singular product, then this is a pretty bad phone to partner with a pretty bad tablet. But there's some other good specs out there that I felt like we should list. So it'll be a 6.2 inch display on the exterior, but keep in mind, very tall, very narrow. So 6.2 inch sounds like a lot, but in reality, it's not a ton. But when unfolded, they took this from the Galaxy S20 lineup, they'll actually be sporting a 120 hertz display that's 8 inches. So that's kind of cool, but it also makes me wonder, like, Samsung, if you're willing to do 120 hertz, can you bring those to your tablets as well? Because iPads have had those for years. Goes along with, hey, this is a premium smartphone. We're definitely targeting it towards the luxury segment, people who are willing to spend $2,000 on a phone. But the great news is that at the same time that they're also going to be adding better cameras. So the same camera system we got on the Galaxy S20 and the S20 Ultra, you should expect on the Galaxy Fold 2, which 108 megapixel sensor did not do very well, so I hope they don't bring that over, but at least improve it from the S20 Ultra so that 8K isn't so gimmicky and the dynamic range isn't so garbage. But outside of all these benefits, of course, of having, the bigger displays, the higher refresh rate, the better cameras, the price is rumored to get a little bit better. So not substantial, but around $100 cheaper. So it's more than likely that they're going to price the Galaxy Fold 2 at around $1899 or $1880, because Samsung likes their little $80 increments when they're doing foldables. Z Flip is $1380, Galaxy Fold was $1980. I don't know what it is with 80, but price reduction is good. So overall, looking at the leaks that are rumored to come out with this thing, I think it's a step in the right direction, but is it going to change anyone's mind on the field? I don't think so, and I think Samsung is still feeling out this market, trying to understand, is there enough people that are going to want to buy these things, and if they're out there, how should we cater towards them? Should we try to drastically treat foldables differently than we have in the past to make them more appealing, or do we just continue to lean towards people that already like them and just make sure that that small niche of the market remains happy? The latter sounds like what they're doing to me, because if I was in charge and I had to somehow make foldables more appealing, I would try to take it in a completely different direction, because I did buy and review the Z Flip. If you guys recall that review, I didn't hate on it for durability issues or it being too expensive. I hypothetically reviewed that thing as if it was half the price and durability was flawless, and I still found it kind of meh compared to other smartphones you can get out there. So the fact that they don't seem to be drastically changing this approach, and the fact that Galaxy Fold E is going to be even less practical because you'll basically have to unfold it anytime you want to use the phone at all, because there's no external display. But I'm sort of okay with that, because it seems like any type of external display they make never ends up being very useful. It either has giant bezels and it looks horrendous, or it'll be like this concept with super thin bezels but incredibly tall that's like, okay, it's good for scrolling, but as soon as you want to do anything with a video or keyboard, you gotta unfold it anyway. So I'm never really that satisfied with how they handled the external display. So maybe Galaxy Fold E would be a great one for me to try out, but Samsung didn't want to ship my first Galaxy Fold. But we'll try again. I could buy a Galaxy Fold 1 now, but if we're so close to the refresh, I'd rather just wait for that, because it sounds like Galaxy Fold 2 is going to be ironing out a lot of the issues they had with the first Galaxy Fold, bringing over some of the glass display tricks that they learned from the Z Flip, because, you know, it's glass, but you can still scratch it with your fingernail, which makes me concerned because there's a few leaks going around that the Galaxy Fold 2 is going to have an S Pen supported. So a lot of people have wanted this for a long time. Like, if I could have a foldable that could fit in my pocket, I would love to take notes on that larger display. So I'm glad they're adding the functionality, but at the same time, knowing how fragile that display is and how easy it is to permanently damage it, are you sure you want to ship it with a stylus that people can push hard on? I don't know. Hopefully they've learned some advantages of changing the materials on the internal display so that it won't be as fragile, but I'm still concerned, and I still think that the huge disconnect we see here between people who think foldables are awesome and people who think foldables are a joke is that there's a ton of us in the tech community that read and hear about phones coming out all the time that are $1,000, $1,200, $1,400. So when we hear $1,100 Galaxy Fold, we think, oh, that's not that bad. That's pretty reasonable. But when looking at the mass market and when we look at what phones sell the best, it's still not normal. And I think a lot of YouTubers think it is, because YouTubers will buy 8-10 phones a year that they have to review and try out for their channel. So when they're trying the same glass slab every single year, they get bored of that. So when a foldable comes out, it's really impressive and different to them. But that's very different compared to someone who buys one phone every 3 years, and they have to consider durability, they have to consider software updates, and they have to consider resale value. Those are very different markets. So that's why you see a lot of excitement come from the YouTubers and people who watch videos like this. But when it comes to the everyday consumer or just average folk who just use their phone for basic stuff and they don't upgrade their phone every year, they see that thing and go, yeah, no, I don't want to drop $1,000 on something that's that fragile and is missing that kind of water resistance, dust resistance, stereo speakers, you know, basic things we expect these days, and they can't even put a screen protector on the thing to keep it safe. So that's where I think this disconnect comes from. Again, I'm interested to see where Samsung takes it, but based on the current leaks, it just seems like they're kind of leaning into what they've already done, which isn't going to change anyone's minds. But like I said, if you're into foldables, you should be excited. If you're not into foldables, this isn't going to do anything for you. But what do you guys think of the Galaxy Fold E and Galaxy Fold 2 ideas? Feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, and remember, be mean to me, because I thrive off of your guys' anger. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you guys in the next one.